Hey, Congressman, I got to ask you, did the Obama administration, is this a symbol of their naivete? Is that the word, naivete?
Mm-hmm.
Very
That's
good. That they were fooled by Russia into thinking that they would back sanctions to Iran, and then when that didn't happen, they do this.
Well, Greg, I want to talk about a friend of mine, Congressman Lee Terry,
Yes.
who you have again unceremoniously dumped from your show at the last second. You've broken the man's heart. He said to me today that he considers you a furry ball of vitriol, and I think an apology is in order.
All right. I'm sorry.
Seriously.
I'm sorry, Lee.
You know, Congressman, it's one thing to walk around with a wallet-sized version of your friend, but that is creepy, sir.
Unlike the president, I've only got so many friends.
That's true.
I thought that was Dan Aykroyd in the picture.
I was actually surprised by that. Congressman, I want you to answer this question, though, seriously. Even though it looks like we're backtracking and we're flip-flopping, is this a good thing?
It's always good to support our siblings in liberty in Poland and the Czech Republic and throughout Central and Eastern Europe. But what you're seeing, Greg, is a seesaw policy. The bid to get Medvedev and Putin on board with sanctions against Iran at the expense of missile defense in the Czech Republic and in Poland has clearly not worked, as the Russians have continually said. And now to go back and ask the Poles to participate in a strategic missile defense system seems to me as a reaction to their failed policy in the first place. What they should have done is never abandon our allies, never embolden the Russians to continue their encroachments in what they consider the near abroad, and to just try to do the right thing and secure peace through strength and the expansion of liberty.
Exactly what I was thinking and going to say, except he beat me to it. Hey, Congressman, what happened to NASA? What happened to our love for everything in outer space?
Well, I think it's still there. We obviously have budget constraints, but obviously human beings' quest for the unknown, their quest to increase their knowledge, is something that we are always going to be proud of, especially as Americans, the first people to reach the moon. So I think that the real problem we have, Greg, is that not enough people like Congressman Lee Terry are stepping up to the plate to volunteer to serve in confined spaces, to go that extra mile for the betterment of science and all of humanity.
I thought he was
Budges on that concern.
It would be great if it was a different congressman. Yeah. Congressman, I would support, you know what I want? I want us to explore the idea of living inside of volcanoes. Hey, Congressman, in your history in politics, did you ever think you'd be asked a question about the hills?
Well, Greg, in all seriousness, the depth of analysis that you brought to this pressing issue of the day clearly refutes the White House argument that Fox News is not a news organization.
How dare you,
I
sir.
see Congressman in a reality-based show called The Capitol Hills. I think he would be a lovely answer to Heidi Montag on the East Coast.
Yes, sir.
Musicians want Gitmo closed. Congressman, you said you don't understand why these musicians want it to be public that their music was being used to torture people. But isn't that why they're upset? Knowing that can't be good for their ego.
Well, I've never known musicians to have trouble with their egos remaining inflated.
All right.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree. Jim, you referred to... Jill, you referred to... Man.
Oh, wow.
Reverend Sharkin, you referred to Thaddeus McCotter. Please call him Congressman. He's worked hard for that title.
Excuse me, I'm Congressman. My heart fell apart.
After calling her Jim, you were admonishing her for calling him Thaddeus.
That's what
at
she
least
gets.
I got his
That's
gender
what she gets.
right.
Yeah, that's what she gets. Bill, you said it's not happy against the machine, it's rage against the machine, probably because happy isn't a verb.
Andy, it's Fox News contributor Bill Schultz. I know I've earned that honor.
No, you're the only one that knows that. Congressman, Bill came up with the idea for a show called The Capitol Hills. Do you think your friend Congressman Lee Terry would have any interest in that?
I think he would, because as you mentioned corn, he comes from Nebraska, the state where they have the corn huskers, if not the people who play that game whose name I really don't want to mention on the air.
Well, we're gonna get to that now. I don't know why you all laughed when Rick referenced the game cornhole. First of all, I played cornhole at Rick's sexy party over the summer.
Congressman Hudson wants to talk to you, Andy.
Yes, Congressman, please.
Look, I don't appreciate Bill making light of this, but the reality is on a cultural level, I want you to remember, when I was growing up back in the 70s, we had jarts. Jarts was a game with a very dangerous steel-tipped dart that could crack your skull if you weren't paying attention. That was hard America, man. That's what we grew up doing. And now look at the game that's supplanted it in the American consciousness. I don't think that's progress.
But Congressman, it's made in America. It is made in America.
That's a fair point. Also, Congressman, I want to congratulate you on your Lions having a 1-in-15 season this year.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. When they win the Super Bowl, dude, I'm going to knock on your door and give you a wingtip.
Just point out that he's a Raiders fan, Congressman. That's all you need to do. I don't know, but I like
Nobody cares about the Raiders.
I agree. That's why I'm a Giants fan.
Congressman, if, let's say, National Review decided to release a book the same day that, say, Jimmy Carter released a book, or Al Gore released a book, or Bill Clinton released a book, and it looked exactly the same, and played off or made fun of them, wouldn't there be an outcry amongst the mainstream media?
No, I'm not sure, Greg, because I think everyone would be reading Lessons from the Land of Pork Scratching. I don't know that.
Finish your thought.
That was the end of my thought.
So basically it's saying that people would mind because they'd be reading my book. By the way, I have a new book coming out soon.
I was being nice to you. I know it shocks you. Every now and then I patronize you.
I know. And
that's your book?
That is my book. See, that's what he did there. But I got to move on. All right, Congressman Thaddeus McCotter, always a pleasure having you on the show. You're a joy, an American joy.